Hey, buddy, can you spare $1? Or maybe a coin knife? We're talking about this little wee coin knife by FURA today. Welcome to Wee Wednesday. This is Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge. It's going to be a little hard for me to work here because I've got a very tiny space, as you can tell by the size of my fingers, because this coin that we're looking at today is itty bitty. Here we've got a Canadian loonie. It's called a loonie because it has a picture of a loon on it. It's an aquatic bird. I'm not sure if it's technically in the duck family or not, but it behaves a lot like ducks, except for it swims underwater. I mean, it can swim like dozens, 50, 100 yards or so. I'm not sure exactly what the spec is, but a long ways underwater while it goes fishing and stuff. Here's a quarter. The Canadian quarter and the American quarter are identical in size and weight. So if you have an American quarter, this guy is just slightly bigger than a quarter. So let's put him upside down. Sorry about my hands being in the way here. We'll put a quarter on top, and there you go. It's almost hidden. You can just see a very tiny little bit of the edge of the knife on there. That's the size of this little guy. What we have along the bottom of the screen here, as you can see right there, that is centimeters. One of the reasons I put this on here today is it gives the camera something to focus on so that the focus isn't going to be bouncing back and forth all the time. Hopefully that helps. We'll see as we go along. So there we go. We've got this knife. This is by FURA, F-U-R-A. This knife does not have a name, and there's no markings on it anywhere as far as the branding. So I'm suspecting this is one of their OEM versions. They probably make it for a number of companies, and other companies maybe put their own brand on it or something. I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't have any branding on it, but GearBest says that it's by FURA. I believe them because their other FURA knives have a lot of the same kind of touches to them, and their coin knives do as well. They've got larger coin knives. I think there's about 3 different FURA coin knives out there on the market at GearBest. Let's talk about the details of this knife. Let's open it up. So there you go. You have the knife. It's a recurve style blade, which most coin knives are. D2 steel, as I already said. There's a little bit of a, I guess you can call it a thumb stud. You've got your main backing plate, liner, if you will, frame on the back. Slip joint spring right there. And then you've got a front scale, I guess you might want to call it. That top piece that looks sort of like the shape of Texas, maybe. Quite different, actually, but similar in some ways, maybe. And then there's a tiny little lanyard hole right there, except for I would call that a coin hole. I'm going to be putting a split ring in there, one of those half-inch, 9-10 millimeter split rings in there, and so that it can hang from my keychain. I've got these tiny little carabiners that I have on my keychain, and then I can clip knives on and off at will at any time. Makes it really easy. If you've not seen my EDC keychain video, check it out. I'll have a link of it at the underneath the screen at the bottom where the description is, and I might make a link of it at the end of the video as well if I remember to do that. So what do we have? We've got titanium T4 alloy on the body. That's the purple part. D2 steel right there. Rockwell hardness is around 60-ish for most D2. D2 can actually be hardened anywhere between 55 and 62. It all depends on the heat levels of the tempering. So it hardens really hard, and then they can bring it down with the tempering, of course. No model number or anything. Slip joint, as I said earlier. Fit and finish on this is very good, very small. For the blade itself, we've got basically a chisel grind, so it comes down on one side, except this particular guy has got a very small little back grind. There you go. You can see it at that angle as I move it back and forth. And that little back grind, I find, helps keep it really, really sharp when they sharpened it. A good way to sharpen this is to get a round ceramic rod and use that to sharpen it. The way you would sharpen it with one of those round rods, this isn't a ceramic rod, of course, but you just slide it through, like in that kind of motion across there, and of course across the back, just like you would any recurve, except for it's a whole lot smaller, so it's a much tinier thing to use. You could use a little Blade Medic by Lansky, use the ceramic edge on that to sharpen this. Anything really small. What I would suggest with these little recurve knives is keep on them. Don't wait till it's dull to do any maintenance on it. Do maintenance on it regularly with a very light sharpening using a ceramic rod or whatever you have, and just keep it regularly sharpened. It's going to be hard to strop. It's going to be, it's tricky. So if you let it get dull, it's going to be hard to bring back. So it's best to keep it good in the first place. Let's talk about the dimensions on this knife. The diameter of this coin is barely under an inch. We're talking 0.986 inches, 2.5 centimeters. The blade thickness is 2 millimeters, 0.08 inches. The handle length, well, that's going to be called the same as the diameter, right? 2.5 centimeters, an inch roughly. Grip area, same thing. The thickness of this thing is right there, 5.8 millimeters. It's right around 1/4 of an inch. The total length when it's open like this is 3.96 centimeters, 1.5 inches, just over 1.56 inches. It weighs 11 grams, which is 0.4 of an ounce. How much does this guy cost? It doesn't even cost $6.50 US. It's $6.48 US. Shipping is $2.24 if you're shipping to Canada, talking US dollars. If you buy 2 of them, your total shipping is only going to be $2.37. If you buy 3 of them, your shipping is going to be $2.50. So, the more of these that you buy, you might want to buy some gifts and stuff. The shipping cost per knife starts coming way down. With the second one you buy, it's almost split in half. In Canadian dollars to get this knife, it's $8.93. I keep reading numbers backwards. $8.93 Canadian, $3.09 shipping. And the same thing is with the American money. If you buy 2 of them, it's $3.27 for shipping. So just over $1.50 each, and just keeps going down that way. Something small like this, you probably want to get a couple of them. It comes in 2 colors. It comes in this purple and in a golden color, the alloy of the titanium. So that's kind of cool. What are the unique features of this knife? Well, its size is the biggest unique feature. Who else is going to have a wee little knife like this? Not very many people. And a coin knife at that. So if you're into tiny knives, you probably don't have a tiny coin knife. And so here's your chance to get a tiny one at a very good budget price. And not only that, it's got decent steel. It doesn't have a silly little 3CR13 steel or something like that. It's got a nice hard steel. It's good quality steel, and it's made sharp. All of the coin knives that I bought have had some sharpness issues. The words just aren't coming out right. All of the coin knives I bought have had sharpness issues. This guy, though, I just cut through paracord easily because it's quite sharp. So this is going to be hard to do under here because, like I said, I've got very little room. But let's see if we can cut this under here. Here we go. It's really hard to cut under here just because there's very little room. But there you go. You saw me cut some paper. I cut some paracord. It's got a nice sharp little nose on it. So this could work quite well as a small little package opener. You can hold it fairly well like this between your fingers and just sort of pull along. It's not going to cut very deep, and that helps when you're opening packages. So it's a cool little knife to have in your keychain. It adds very little weight. It's handy. 85-90% of the EDC tasks that you need a knife for, this little guy can probably do it because you're opening envelopes, you're opening little packages. It's just tiny little things that you're doing. And this little guy can do it all. I really like mine. If you want to buy one of these or 2 of these or 10 of these, please use the links in the description below. Those are my referral links. I'm going to make like 5 cents off of each one, but over time that starts to add up, and that really helps this channel to survive. And this channel needs an income in order to make these videos because things cost money, cameras, lights, everything else. I don't really make any money off of this, but I need a little bit of an income to help pay for the expenses. So thank you so much for using my links. Please leave a comment about this knife. What do you think of it? Do you have any questions about it that I forgot to answer? Ask me those things in the comments below. If you're not yet a subscriber, I'd really appreciate if you would subscribe. So like, comment, share, and all that other good stuff. And remember, always cut towards your chum, that is your friend or the other guy, and not your thumb.